The FBI is now joining an investigation into power outages in the North Carolina county, Moore County that is, believed to have been caused intentionally and targeted a county that has left around 40,000 customers in the dark on Saturday night, prompting a curfew and an emergency declaration of war. Now, the mass outage in Moore County turned into a criminal investigation when responding utility crews found signs of potential vandalism of equipment at different sites, including two substations that had been damaged by gunfire, according to the Moore County's Sheriff's Office. So what we know so far is that there was vandalism in two different sites, and two sub-sites was actually damaged by gunfire. Now, the person or persons who did this, according to authorities, knew exactly what they were doing. So we don't know who caused this, and we don't know why it's caused, why they did it. But what we do know, according to authorities, this power outage in Moore County was targeted and purpose-filled. All right, that's what we know so far. Now, there's speculation, oh Lord, that it was protesters. All right, okay. But why would the protesters do this? They were opposed, allegedly, to this. A drag show. Now, I try to be factual and full of data. That's why I probably spent the last 4 minutes reading this. So when I first heard about it, I was wanting proof because I'm like, we just can't just be accusing people of sabotaging a whole county because they don't want a simple drag show in their city. Until this came up. On the left, a lady named Emily Grace, who we'll talk about in a second, put the Sunrise Theater, God will not be mocked. Now, what does the Sunrise Theater have to do with this? The Sunrise Theater is where the drag show is going to be held. Now, Emily Grace also says the Moore County Sheriff Office just checked in. I welcomed them into my house. Sorry they wasted their time. I told them that God's work is mysterious. God works in mysterious ways and is responsible for the outage. I used the opportunity to tell them about the immoral drag show and the blasphemies screamed by its supporters. God is chastising Moore County. I thank them for coming and wish them a good night. Thankful for the Leo's service as always. Now, hold on a second. Emily seems to think that this outage was an act of God because of the drag show being held in her county. All right, okay, I guess. Now, the problem is we know already that this was done deliberately and was a targeted attack to the community. So, though maybe a huge thunderstorm or a hailstorm that knocked the power out, we could be like, okay, that was God chastising Moore County. This, no, Emily, is not. Emily also took the time to post this. She says, the power is out in Moore County and I know why. Now, hold on a second, because again, I don't like to be putting words in people's mouths. I'm not about to get into this. She's a right-wing crazy lady and just accuse her for no reason. Then Emily posted this. We're going to wait. Now, let me give you some backdrop on Emily. Emily was a captain in the U.S. military that had to resign her commission because she was a part of the January 6th insurrection. Emily also posted, it's time to expose the Moore County teachers who are turning our children into woke, mindless drones and exposing them to sexual depravity. Parents deserve to know who they are so their family can avoid them like the plague. This might be an unpopular post. Feel free to PM us if you don't want to name names in the comments. The list we put together will be specific, including name of teacher and school they work for. It will be made public by the reporting, but the reporting is anonymous. We want to know specifics. Nothing is too small. Basically, they're creating a list of teachers who support, I guess, the LGBTQ community. And I forgot to put this article up. I read in the Fayetteville Observer that Naomi Dix, a Durham-based drag artist, hosted the drag show. She said that despite the power outages, the stage still shined. And then I thought, now hold on a second. So whoever did this knocked out the power while the show was going on? Dick said it was a beautiful moment. Michael Yates is a Cary resident who attended the counter protest and the show with his husband and a group of friends. They were singing like good gays, Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And they also sung Halo by Beyonce. Now, here is the unfortunate part about this, y'all. The unfortunate part about this is cloaked by Emily and her contemporaries in religion. The problem with religion, and this is not a show against religion, but the problem with religion is religion doesn't have clear boundaries. What do I mean? God gave his own son. The son whose father was God did not come to this earth due to sex. He came through a Virgin Mary. So a virgin had to bear the pain of birth so God could get his son on earth, and then he sacrificed the son. So I'm trying to put into context how this religion thing works. He then floods and kills an entire existence due to disobedience. Parents disown their kids, kick them out the house based on their sexual identity, all in the name of God. As much as Christianity, and for that fact, religion brings unity, strength, and love to our world, its limitless boundaries prove to wreak havoc when people are trying to prove their dedication to whatever God they serve. So it would not be beyond the boundaries of Christianity and religion for these people to vandalize and destroy an electrical grid in the name of Jesus to stop this drag show. Now, one of the people that was commenting under Emily said, well, what about the elderly and those that are on ventilators? And Emily's response was this. Watch this, y'all. Emily's response was, when God chastises us, he chastises the good people and the bad people. So basically, Emily does not care who is harmed by this power outage as long as they could have stopped, if she is behind it, this drag show. And that is the danger of religion without boundaries. Now, for a second, we need to talk about protest. Because on one hand, after the death of George Floyd, I remember driving through the streets of Buckhead, and Buckhead, Atlanta, which is one of the more affluent and richest areas in Atlanta, looked like a third world war zone. And I remember struggling like, well, It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. Now, again, let's not be ignorant at this fact that America has the freedom that it has due to protest. All right. The Boston Tea Party, the Civil War, internal uprisings have always moved the dialogue and ideology of this country. So I cannot, in good faith, if vigilantes, according to how you look at it, are patriots, killed an entire grid, stole power or took power from 40,000 people to shut down this drag show, if I'm going to be a believer in protest, I can't. Here's what I will say. You better be damn sure you're on the right side of history when you go doing things like that. That's all I got. Because you're tapping into domestic terrorism and federal crimes. So I think protest is good. I think protest is needed. I'm going to be honest, when they destroyed businesses and caused havoc in Atlanta, I remember Atlanta specifically, we couldn't leave out the house after 7 o'clock, shut down businesses and I didn't mind it. Why? Because I believed in the thing that they were protesting, and they'd set a whole target on fire. There was a service I was trying to get, but the lady's business was above that target. And she had to, in order to keep her business open, she had to start taking clients from her home. And through all of that, I did not flinch because I felt like the death of George Floyd was uncalled for. So I got to keep that same energy when it comes to this. But let me say this again. If you're going to do this stupid shit, you better make sure you're on the right side of history. And quite frankly, I don't think you are. All right, I'm done.